Hello, namaste everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is me, Gray Megawali, and this is episode number 3 in my spiritual journey. And today we're going to be talking about letting go of our past that no longer serves us and how does forgiving other people makes us feel more liberating. The way I see as letting go of the past is as if you are accepting that past. A lot of time it's very difficult to let go of the past when we're not accepting it and we're in a denial. We're just delusional because as a human we keep thinking about the situations that caused us pain, thinking that we could do something different and it could have given us a different results, which is why we keep getting stuck to it because we do not want to accept what happens. So I think one of the first thing that you have to do in order to let go is accepting what happened in the past and just telling yourself, yes, this is what happened and this is what I'm going to take away from it, and I will make sure not to do it again in the future. Now let's talk about forgiveness. I think a lot of people have a misconception when it comes to forgiveness. I say forgiving is something that you do for yourself and not for the other person. When you forgive yourself, you're basically freeing yourself from the burden and from the guilt and from the pain. So you're doing a favor for yourself. I think a lot of people don't realize when you don't forgive someone, it's a burden for you and it's just weighing you down, which also kind of hinders your true potential. So when you forgive someone, you're basically making yourself more free and liberated because you don't have to hold that grudge anymore. When I even have conversations with my friends and with my family, they often take it in a very, not like an offensive way, but they take it in a very different way. I don't know how to say it, but their reaction is like, why do I need to forgive them? Because they did me so dirty. I can never forgive them ever. You know, you don't realize that, but that's weighing you down so much. The amount of passion, the amount of energy you have let that certain memory and that certain person take over you is just insane if you realize it. So when you forgive that person, I'm not saying you need to go back on your feet crawling to them and saying I'm sorry. I'm not saying that. I am saying you wholly accept what they did to you. You accept it and you let go of it and you forgive them so you can free yourself. It's not for the other person, it's for yourself. Don't get too attached with the past memory that no longer serves you, that's no longer in your life, that does not identify with you anymore. And if something similar happens in future for you, you don't have to give up on it. Let's say you want to find a good partner, a good relationship in future, and your past relationship was just not good. I'm not saying you need to give up on it. You just need to stop being very overly attached to it. And there are also some of the practices that you could do for yourself to actually free yourself from the past trauma, past resentment, past sadness, memories that you want to stop dwelling on. And I think it's by practicing gratitude. It's by becoming grateful for what you have in your life and not something that you want to change in the past, because that's just, it doesn't work like that. So instead of focusing that, make sure you become grateful for what you have. Make sure you remember your family and say, I am so grateful for my family because they love me so much. I am so grateful for my job. I mean, even though you do not like your job, I'm so grateful for this job because that is where your paycheck comes from. That is where the money comes from for you to live day-to-day life. So practicing gratitude, what does is like you change, there's a shift in the perceptions, and then you are basically just disconnecting yourself from the negative energy by dwelling on the past. Instead of that, you're focusing on to something positive that's in your life. That's going to give you more content and happiness because then what happens is like you suddenly will start to realize there's so many good things in life that's happening in the present time that you being grateful for. So it's better for you to focus on that instead of something that you cannot change literally anything about it. And what you get from that is a true joy. True joy comes when you're appreciating and being grateful for what you have. And the second point is changing your mindset. How can we possibly change our mindset? It's by stop being delulu, aka delusional, and denial. These two things, we need to stop doing that. Making fake scenarios in your head, thinking about the situations that you could have done better, you could have said something better, thinking about how that could have changed the results, is all just you're being in denial, not accepting of past, what actually happened. And you're creating this delusional stories and you keep feeding onto it, which is why it's getting more harder for you to move on. You need to stop doing that. You need to stop having that mindset, having the mindset that you could actually go back to the past and change it. I think one of the really powerful book, if you want to like go off the past and you want to be like focus on your present time, is the book Power of Now. It's by Eckhart. That book is really good. I think that book actually made me think about all of the situations and make me more knowledgeable about the things that I'm talking right now, even at the moment. That book is really powerful. It's like a powerful enlightenment spiritual book. And I think I really highly recommend you guys to actually go and read that book. I think that book, when you read that, it makes more sense than me actually talking about it. I read that book twice, and every single time I feel like I'm dwelling onto past or I'm thinking about something very absurdly and it's just not making sense. I always make sure to go back and then read that book. What that book does to me is always it always just pulls me back into the present and make me realize this about things that I have in life at the moment in order, and it makes me feel so much gratitude and love for everything that I have in my life. And every time I practice this, every time I keep going to the past about the situations, I always pull myself to the present and say, this is where I am. And this is what I need to think about, not about something that's already gone or even about the future. Nobody knows the future. And also, the other thing that I want to add is we as a person, we need to stop becoming greedy and demanding more things, because greed is the thing that will always bring us unhappiness. When you're greedy and you're wanting to have more things in life, that's just going to give you unhappiness. And I'll tell you why. It's because you will never be satisfied with what you have in your life. If you know what's the meaning of greed, it's about like you're having something and you're never happy for it because you're not grateful for it. Until and unless you're grateful for the things that you have in your life, you will never be grateful for something that you are going to have in future. So being greed is just another sign of being unhappy your whole life. Every time you find yourself dwelling on the past, dwelling on the situations that you might think would have been better, or dwelling onto relationship that got broken, it was bound to happen. Everything happens for a reason. And if you take it in a way that if you believe in God, you're giving that in God's hand and you're believing that God has something better planned for you. Because as we grow up, we make a lot of experiences. And some of the experience we just let go, we don't even remember. And some of the experience and the memories, we keep it very close in our heart, holding grudges and not forgiving others. What that does is like it just holds that place in here. And it doesn't, until that's empty, nothing better is going to come. If you're going to keep holding on to something in the past, which is very unhappy and just gives you pain, unless you let go of that thing and you make an empty space here, nothing better is going to come because you're not creating that space. That's how universe works. In order for you to attract positive things, in order for you to attract something even greater than what happened in the past, you need to empty that space out. Which is why I said being grateful for what you have in the present is how you're going to be grateful for something even bigger and better coming in future. If you're not grateful for the things that you have in the present, you will never be grateful and happy. Even though you might receive a lot of success, a lot of happiness, like money, not happiness, a lot of money, because you will never be satisfied. If I talk about my journey, I feel like I have done so many things in my life. I have won almost 13 to 14 crowns I have at my house, and I've done 5 to 6 movies, and I've done great things in my life. And I think I never looked at it in a positive way because I was never grateful for it. I was greedy for more. I thought I was going to be something more bigger, and I just wanted more things in my life. And I think that's what caused me to be so unhappy, and it made me feel like I'm not good enough because I was not looking at the positive sides of what I have got. I never looked at that side unless 2, 3 months ago, and I started realizing the reason why I'm not happy is because I am never grateful for the things that I have in my life. The moment I started sitting down and telling myself, I am so grateful for these 13 crowns that I have at my house. I am so grateful for all of these wonderful experiences that I got as a child. I'm so grateful to have a beautiful mother who supported me so much in Nepal. She made me a child singer. She made me an actress. She made me go to these pageants and made me collect so much beautiful memories with. That's when I realized I've done so many things in my life, and the reason I was not happy was because I was not grateful for it. And there might be a lot of sadness related to it because as a kid I would think I was like not normal because she would take me everywhere, and I would feel like, oh, I never get to stay at home. I never get to play with my friends because she's always taking me here and there. And I felt like as a kid I was violated. And that's why I couldn't let go of it. And I used to blame her for everything because I used to, in my head, I used to be like, I didn't have this experience because she did this. And then I hold it onto so much grudge personally. And I could never let go of it until unless I started becoming grateful for what she's done for me. And that's the truth. That was why she did everything for me back in the days to make me this person in the present. You are what your thoughts are. You are what your actions are. The situations that you're in today, the present times, the kind of friends that you have around, the kind of relationship that you're in, the relationship that you have with your parents is all because of the past actions that you've done. You've created this environment, you've created these situations and this world by your past actions, which is why it's never too late. And stop dwelling on the past because you are attracting more situations like in your past in the future because you are also giving out that kind of energy to the universe and the world. If you want a different outcome, if you want a different result, then you need to also change your mindset by becoming grateful for it. That's how you attract positive things in life. It's also related with what kind of intention that you have behind. Let's say if there's someone who wants to become rich and they want to have a big house and a car, a lot of money, and it's the reason why they want to have that is because they want to show up to their friends and family, then I really don't think that person is going to be happy and grateful when he's going to have it in future. He might manifest it, but he will never become full from it because it's the intention behind it. And that's also very important. You need to have a good intention behind. I really hope all of the things that I said today make sense and makes you also want to do it, because initially this is how we start. It might sound a little off, but I think you need to be very open-minded to understand these kind of things, and keep in mind, again, forgiving is for yourself, is to free yourself and not for the other person. And letting go of the past is something that you have to do if you want to create better situations. Is because, how I said, you need to empty that space out in order to welcome something bigger and better. I really hope this makes sense for you guys, and I hope that you also practice this so we can grow together. If there's anything that you want to say, make sure you comment down so I can also learn from you, because it's a two-way road. I also want to learn from you guys. So this is it. Take care. Love you.